Hello everyone and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. It's so nice to be with you again. Today we're going to be doing a reading for our fire signs and just generally tapping into fire energy as this is our end of the month reading for July. So kind of seeing what's going on in the fire realm for the end of the month. I wanted to let you guys know that I have an Instagram account just as well, Brother Earth Healing, no spaces or anything. And I am an intuitive healer and do a lot of energy work. And I've been formally trained as a medium also, and I have a background as a Buddhist monk and trained in a Zen tradition. So it's a little bit about my background. I do read intuitively, and so yeah, a lot of what is coming through is channeled messages, as well as maybe a little bit of like some other stuff from my own practice and teaching. I think I'm just ready to get started. Feeling very interesting already as I was just sitting, doing a meditation before getting into it. So I'd like to start by taking a couple breaths with you guys and sending a little bit of energy to gather and hold the space, and then get into it a little bit. So I'll invite you to just kind of come back to the breath and allow your breathing and your breath to guide you to a place of stillness, easiness, and rest. And as we are guided by our breath to come back to ourselves, we can ask for our thoughts to settle, just putting down whatever's going on in the mental space, just for a little while, and allowing for our emotions to settle, asking for our emotions to settle, and resting in the heart space. And we'll also ask ourselves just to be open to receive what we need to receive today. Even if we're not a fire sign, sun sign, or have a whole lot of fire in our chart, all these elemental energies are within all of us and are in everyone around us. So just take what resonates from the reading today, and whatever doesn't resonate, we can let go. Just let that pass by. And feel free to check out some of my other videos also, if we're not really resonating here. Good, that feels really good. So let's say a little bit of gratitude. I want to offer gratitude, thanks, and praise for our blood ancestry and for our spiritual ancestors and heritage, and ask for support in offering clear messages of love and healing for those tuning in today. And just taking a moment to recognize all of the support we've been given and all of the love and teaching and guidance that's been handed down. Allowing ourselves to fill with gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cool, ready to get started, I feel. Had quite a bit coming through already before I was reading, and even before I started, before I got into like a little meditative session to tap in with you guys. This belongs up, right? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. I feel like some of you are feeling a little bit like single. Kind of what I call myself these days, super single. Some of us are feeling super duper single. We're super singles. And just kind of generally feeling maybe I'm getting what I'm getting really also is feeling a little disappointed, maybe craving for a partner and for like relationship romantically. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantically. It could also be kind of maybe feeling a little bit sad about certain relationships in family, or maybe really wanting a close friend, maybe not feeling like you have close friends the way you used to. I don't know why I'm getting used to. That's kind of what's coming through. I'm getting generally disappointed. I'm feeling like a lot of dense energy, like there's a lot of, it's hard to cut through. The emotions seem strong. Yeah, very fiery. Smoky, very smoky, like difficult to see through the emotional experience, right? Like it's very dense. I feel like for some of you, you know that there's a partner for you or something, or feel that way strongly. Yeah, and I feel that way as well, if you resonate with that. Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling more romantic partner. Not necessarily, actually. And just, yeah, a partnership, like whether that's friends, very, very close friends, very close with a certain family member, or romantically. I normally don't call out like signs of people who you might be resonating with, but I am being kind of guided to. So I'm feeling like maybe me connecting with like an earth sign or something. And I feel like that might be a very interesting dynamic because of how fiery you are, is kind of how I'm feeling. Very, very fiery personality as well. And it's like having someone kind of show you the mellow side of life, right? The grounded, like really, yeah. And I see you being very enamored by that, or very like drawn to whatever this relationship is, or partnership is, because of the groundedness of this person. Like you really not envy, but really appreciate that, or really like, wow, like kind of in awe of that, like, wow, there's something to learn here, right? Really seeing others, really seeing that person as like someone who can really teach you, right? I'm also feeling, let me see. Yeah, so for some, I feel like there's a real searching. There's a real searching for this. And I feel like it's coming from a place of, craving, a place of like feeling, a place of lacking, which I don't feel like is the most, I just don't think that is serving you necessarily. Like, I don't think that you're gonna meet this person faster, or, find this partnership faster because you're searching, which sounds very strange. But yeah, I definitely feel that way. And this is very interesting because I normally don't, my intention is not to do love readings. Like, that's not my initial intention with doing this. But yeah, it seems to be what's coming out right now. I feel like somebody's really craving like sex, actually. Like having, like maybe it's been a while or something like that. But I feel like, there's definitely that element in this as well that's fueling, acting as some kind of fuel for like the search, right? And I think there's, I think also underneath it all, I actually have strength in reverse. And what I'm kind of getting from this is, again, feeling of lack, right? Like lack of, like lack. Internal lack that really doesn't have anything to do with the seeking of a partnership, actually. It's actually in a different area. Maybe I can get some guidance as to what that area is. That's interesting. What I'm getting is, okay. the Five of Cups, actually what I'm getting here is that there is a pattern of feeling like lack. There's a pattern of feeling that sense of lack, right? And that actually is the hindrance itself to get over, right? So that's great though, because it's like you are coming to a place where I feel like not grasping onto, where you're not grasping onto like the smaller things, and it's really boiling down to the core issue, the core of what your the karmic aspect of it. I don't know exactly how to describe that more clearly. Like, yeah, the core of what this, samsara is, or samskara, also pronounced. You can look that up also, which would be, yeah, this like focal point of suffering that we are attached to, right? It's very foundational to that type of suffering. I think that's a good way to say it. Yeah, and I'm feeling loneliness for sure. I'm just feeling loneliness in general. I feel like you may very well have a spiritual practice or something that really feeds you quite a bit. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spiritual practice, but have some kind of routine or something that you do that really does fill you up. And I would say go towards that, right? And find a balance between, find a balance between like acknowledge that acknowledge what you want, and your needs, right? We all have human needs, but not to lose sight of the fact that you're okay and you're actually quite doing quite well, and just to not lose sight of that, right? And I'll also say that you, I just see like a lot of gifts, right? I feel like there's a lot of gifts to be shared. You have a lot of gifts to share. Yeah. And to not wait to share those gifts, like to really go for it, and not wait until you have, I feel like there's a sense of like having this perfect situation in your mind, like having this perfect, kind of thing. There's some aspect of like waiting to get things started, or like waiting to to do that. Cool. So I'm gonna I really like this. I think there's a lot of juicy stuff in here, and I'd like to kind of unpack it now that I see the general idea. And if you're not resonating with this exactly, then I'll pull some more, through the thing. I'll pull some more cards and we'll see what's going on. Okay, beautiful. So I actually got the Queen of Pentacles was the last card. And that was the card that really was telling me about, about you, in terms of like, really having a lot of gifts. Really feeling that in the physical realm, like having a lot of gifts. And also this lacking mindset in the physical realm, not as much lacking emotionally, which is really great. And that's a really good place to be if you want to be in a relationship, because, the more filled up we are and are able to kind of really, kind of like be all right on our own and be, thriving on our own, especially emotionally. That's so essential to having a healthy relationship. And I actually, interestingly enough, got the Nine of Pentacles coming out of this next deck. Dark grapes, so grapes. I'm getting wine drinker. If somebody likes their wine or knows a lot about wine. I actually know a lot about wine. I used to work in the wine industry, actually. This is beautiful. This is cool. I love how these cards are falling out. I kind of wish I could just like take the camera and show you guys like exactly what's coming out here. But I think having me in front of the camera is actually better. But let me know what you guys like, actually. If you guys want to leave me a comment and let me know. And let me know what you think. What would you prefer? And any other kind of, comments. Let me know what's going on. I'd be happy to answer questions and things like that from the reading too. Okay. I feel like, okay, so right now I feel like it's splitting. So certain people will resonate with what was just shared into this, and then others that maybe weren't resonating so much. I think you're going to get something for your situation out of this, is what I'm feeling. For those of you that didn't resonate as much as directly with what was just shared, I feel like there's still a decent amount of suffering. I feel like the emotional aspect isn't so stable internally. I feel like there's been some kind of loss or some kind of, loss of job actually is what I heard. Loss of a job or a position in an organization or company or something like that, that you really, I'm getting that you were there for quite a while, or it felt that way. Yeah. And that's certainly happening for a lot of people, you know, whether that's just like a temporary leave or something like that because of COVID or whatever. Definitely getting that. Okay. So, interesting. So, Nine of Pentacles, what I got was actually when I laid the cards out. I'll show you. Okay. Okay. So, for those who were resonating with what was just shared, yeah. It's interesting because the way that they're laid out, like you guys are facing each other, right? And certainly this feels like partnership, some kind of partnership or, you know, connection. Again, that doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. And I feel like there's a lot of similarities with you two in this connection with interests, particularly. The interests seem very, and this for some of you, I can feel that this is already, the connection's been made already, or you know this person somehow. Yeah. And I'm just feeling like the outdoor, like you guys like to be outdoors or something. There's some aspect of that that's really, you guys really both individually appreciate that and have a real need to incorporate nature, like the natural world into your life and lifestyle in a big way. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You guys are like super duper awesome hippie people, which is my kind of people. So hit me up and we'll hang or video hang. I guess now. Yeah, it's really beautiful. What I'm actually getting from this actually, so this is my herbal tarot deck, and it says aconite here as the herb or the plant for this particular card. And it's funny because actually these right here actually look like a flower vaguely, especially the color looks like a flower, lupins that grow around here in Monterey where I live. And it really reminded me of that when I first picked this card up, like especially the way that they're popping out of the stem looks just like lupins, except for it doesn't have the white bit. And so interesting, maybe you guys live around here or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of places in the world, you know, and here that have that particular kind of lupin that I'm thinking of. But yeah, like really beautiful like flowers and fruits is what I'm feeling. Like I feel like you both really surround yourself with a lot of like, not necessarily decadence or like overindulgence, but like, yeah, you both treat yourselves in a way, and like you both like to make sure that you are taking care of and surrounding yourself with beauty and like good food and like, you know, taking care. I like self-care. This self-care element feels very healthy with both of you, which is really good. Like that's great. That's beautiful. I am reading into something romantic here, very strongly. I kind of want to learn more about what's going on with this. I do see some kind of like long-term commitment, actually. Also, the Chariot is coming. I'm reading this. What's coming off of this for me right now is a long-term commitment or marriage or something. King of Pentacles. What I'm getting from this actually is ruling over the earthly kingdom together, or ruling over the a physical space together. So it could mean homesteading, actually, is kind of what I was feeling. Possibly even moving to a place where you could do that. Both having that kind of desire to move from where you are currently. I feel like it might be the case that you guys actually both want to move somewhere else, and you both have that kind of intention, and when you meet, or when you finally come to that place of having that conversation, like it really resonates, and that's an important moment where you're both like, okay, like, you know, cool, you know. I want to read a little bit more into what this suffering is, and if there's any way that we can be of support here in this during our time together in this video. If there's any way to be can be of support for this Nine of Swords here. I feel like this is affecting the masculine. Whoever identifies more with the masculine in the partnership or in the relationship. Well, this just turned out into a full-blown love reading. Jeez. There is an element of definitely when you guys come together or something like that. Yeah, like when, you know, there's a feeling of like the partner that's suffering, right? Getting a sense of relief because now there's a feeling of really going through it together, and like really beautiful support, and not in a codependent way where it's being put on the other partner or the other person in the, you know, the other person. Because this can still be, you know, friends or family or something like that. Very close connection. So that's really nice. Yeah, I feel that being very healthy. Obviously, you know, there's things can always turn unhealthy if we're not careful, and if we don't really continue to do our healing work and are not mindful of what's going on and taking the proper steps, right? But I do see that as being a really huge support, having a partner, because the wounding feels pretty deep, and what I'm getting is that it's actually related to childhood stuff. Yeah, a little traumatic is what I heard. I'm not feeling anything too extreme, but again, you know, just take it how it resonates with you. Cool. So is there any way that we can be of support in this, or we can look into this? I'm feeling like you don't want me to look into this very much, which is totally fine. If there's any piece of support without me knowing exactly what's going on, can please drop out of the deck. I felt that coming out. I feel like we've already gone over this. I feel like you've already gotten what you needed for the most part, but I'll reiterate. I got the same card in the same position in the other deck. Reversed Four of Cups. Yeah, lack. It's a feeling of lack. I feel like it's related to some aspect of, I'm actually not going to go into it because I felt that there's not wanting anything to be said, but there's a parental aspect to this that feels very, very personal, and I am not aware of it, so I'm keeping myself away from that because I feel like there's whoever is resonating with this need would appreciate that. Funny, the Ace of Wands actually came out in reverse, and then when I picked it up to look at it, while I was just continuing to kind of channel a little bit and talk, I picked it up in the upright position. I feel like what's happening is here is that there's a part of there's a part of the healing that has not been identified. There's a key, maybe a puzzle piece that seems like it's been hidden to really help with the next step of overcoming this suffering, yeah, kind of long-term suffering or issue, internal thing. And so I feel like there's a real, like, you know, flip of the coin, like something as easy as just flipping the coin. There'll be a lot of support. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm picking up on. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, once you kind of see what that is, and I feel like that might come about through this kind of partnership or through the connection that we're speaking of, that there will be some yeah, really beautiful and deep insights. And I think something to keep in mind is what are the places within you that relating to like self-care and self-love that haven't been explored, right? Where are there parts of you that yeah, maybe that are maybe a little bit undernourished in that department, right? Right? So taking inventory of emotionally, and I think that what I'm kind of speaking to more concretely is like, you know, is my anger in check? You know, what is there something, the easy way is there something that's not in check that I'm noticing, or that other people are noticing and telling me about, you know? And if that's not obvious, then you can go and do the, you know, kind of inventory as to, oh, what part of me feels, you know, a little lonely? What part of me feels like, you know, the light hasn't been shed there for a while, right? Emotionally or in the mind space, whatever. And then coming with love, you know, coming with attention and care, the way I feel like you very well know how, yeah, to care for those parts of ourselves that are neglected. Yeah. And I think revisiting even those places where we do feel like we're all right, because sometimes sometimes we do need, yeah, a little bit of extra care, even in areas where we feel like we're okay in. Yeah, excuse me. Ugh. So really having an open mind. Yeah. Well, that was crazy. I like choked on something. Choked on my words. Yeah, it might have something to do with communication. Yeah, I feel like leaving that alone. I feel like there's some sensitivity there, so I'm going to move on. But that's pretty exciting. Yeah. It's been interesting, like... Oh, very interesting. You got some really amazing stuff coming out here. Okay. Okay, I'm feeling kind of related as well. We actually have the Hangman reversed here. Now let's see what we can take from this before we get into the 3 other big cards that just came out. To kind of, I'm feeling a little bit of a closing energy here. Okay, what I feel like you're coming into towards the end of this month is after really kind of suffering with, this craving, this lacking, right? Like coming to a place of really being aware of that lack mindset, or some element of feeling of lack internally, okay? Some place in some area, which I feel definitely has to do again with like wanting a partner or a good friend or something like that, lacking connection, meaningful, very deep, personal, intimate connection. there's this recognition of what you're, there's a wider recognition of, while that might be true, and we do have to take care of our physical needs, right? There's this other aspect that's coming to light that's very beautiful, right? That's more so about, and the reason why it's really interesting and cool to have the Hangman in reverse is because when we were reversed with the insight and clarity of what we wanted, right? On a physical level, okay, we're coming to a place where we kind of have similar feelings, right? Similar feelings and similar being drawn in a very similar direction, which at its essence is being drawn to love, right? Love through connection and intimate relationship, right? And so as we flip around and come into even more clarity, becoming upright instead of hanging down, looking at this situation from an upside down perspective, we come to look at it upright, and we see that what we're really getting at, what we really want, is a deep connection, and devotion is coming really strongly, wanting to devote ourselves wholly, not to necessarily a person, right, but to devote ourselves to love itself, right? And really craving a deep connection with the divine and with, spirit, with God, or with source, with our origin, our soul's origin, what we truly are. And I'm feeling like, even just now, a lot of relief and letting go. And this is definitely a journey that I've been on, and have had a lot of revelation with, particularly this past year and a half. And once we really come into knowing that, not just in the mind, that what we're really seeking is that divine connection and intimacy, there's this just huge weight off of our shoulders, and we can really truly rest in a way we haven't rested in a long time. And because this lacking mindset, I feel like, has kept us on edge, right? And has kept us really, in an unpleasant place. In some element in us, or some aspect of us has been in that unpleasant place for a long time, okay? And we kind of also come into a recognition of, like, the natural cycles of life, and the natural aspects of being human and being here in this dualistic world, dualistic realm of of ups and downs, of constant change, and coming into like a lot more peace as well, because we recognize that we can't always be in a perfect relationship, and it's not always even about that, right? That's not our greatest happiness, right? I think that that's the biggest revelation from what you're experiencing, or coming into, is that the things that we thought were going to be our biggest, our greatest happiness, even in the back of our minds and in our deep subconscious, we know that those things aren't going to really get us what we truly crave, what our soul, or what our true self really craves, right? Which is to be in love, right? To live and embody love, right? I'm being called to kind of share, like, Ram Dass, and for those of you who are unfamiliar, I don't know if I have time to explain it, but all about Ram Dass, but please look him up. He's an amazing person and spiritual teacher who actually passed last December, 2019, and his one of his guru and teacher, who's Neem Karoli Baba, he once shared, about, like Ram Dass was tells a story about him sharing about Jesus, and about how we don't understand, like him repeating, like, you don't understand what the real value was in his teaching, and what truly he was, right? And one of the things that he says, he tells the account, is that, Neem Karoli Baba says a very powerful thing about Jesus. He was lost in love, right? Like he was just lost in love, and just so in love with everyone, and saw everyone's light, and is for me what that means, right? Like just completely lost in being in love, embodying love, right? Wanting to serve and help and love everyone, washing everyone's feet, and offering healing to everyone indiscriminately, and this sort of love is what we crave, truly, not from not love, not worldly love in romance and relationships, although that gets us pretty close sometimes, I would even say that it gives us the illusion of getting close. It actually isn't very close. That other, spiritual and divine love is a lot deeper and a lot more real, I would even say. It's beyond the mind. Yeah, and I think that's the important aspect of what we're learning, of what you're learning, is that what you're seeking is beyond your mind and constructs and ideas. Even the idea of being in a relationship is something in the mind that releases a chemical, right? And so what we're seeking and what you're understanding is that what you're really seeking is beyond that, right? And this just feels very like there's a peace coming over, right? There's this real peace. There's this aspect of this, like I was saying earlier, this samskara, this attachment, right? This attachment that we have in our mind, in our thinking, in our subconscious, that has been it's beginning to truly dissolve because of the wisdom that we're gaining. Okay. Yeah, and I just see you continuing very beautifully with that insight, and really feeling like you're able to, because I remember saying earlier that there was an element of not you having a lot of gifts, and now I'm suddenly getting more information about that, like maybe something working with kids or children. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling like something really noble, like maybe like working with kids or children that have like developmental disabilities or something like that. Which I realize I just said, oh, this is very noble, but it's actually the work that I do as well. Not with children, with like young adults and adults, but yeah, I'm feeling something like that, and but also these other gifts that you have, like I feel like you're really able to really share them and feel like confident and not feel held back, and because there's some element of all of this that has just been really holding you back. And so I'm feeling with this newfound peace and whatnot, like really able to move on, and kind of continue beautifully. So I think we've been at it for a little while, so I'm going to actually I'm going to pull some cards from my Angels and Ancestors deck and see if we have any messages from our teachers and guides and ancestors, and just kind of like see what comes out. This has been a really, really interesting reading. I feel like it's been speaking to somebody in particular very strongly. You know what? I'm going to put this back and see. I think I've been getting that card a lot, so let's see if it comes back out again. I feel like I've been reading for someone who has a lot of feminine energy, or someone who identifies with being feminine, very feminine. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, see your seeds grow. So this is kind of what I'm picking up on, like for sure, like these gifts that you have. I feel like there's things that you've nourished, whether that's being an artist, doing something with art or music, something like that. Something you've nourished, right? Singing maybe, or just maybe even like learning about plants and or something like that. Something, something more earthy. And yeah, just seeing how much of that you're able to use to better yourself and others, and to support yourself even maybe and others. Let's do this one next. Yeah, definitely getting some witchy vibes for sure. I'm hearing like really let your light shine, actually. Like really let your light shine. Yeah. And get to know your light, like, you know, get to know that side of you, right? And allow that to, like, really allow that part of you to shine brightly out, you know, and feel into, like, you know, how that feels, right? How does it feel? And you can kind of compare when I'm feeling like I'm being very authentically myself and my light is shining, you know, and how do I feel when I'm, you know, when I'm angry and acting out of anger or lacking mindset, you know, things like that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's, what I'm really feeling from this is a need for advice. What I'm getting is advice. I'm getting that what would really help you is pattern and rhythmic rhythm, you know, like a rhythm, a pattern, and maybe setting a schedule for yourself. Um, yeah, like that would be very, very helpful for you, and that you would do well in your goals if you set them. If you set them, yeah, for sure. Um, yeah. And lastly, for you, Fire Guardian. And yeah, so, you know, they're with you for sure. Um, and I think it's, yeah, very much about that fire within too. I feel like there's support with really allowing that fire and that light to shine brightly and to, you know, burn brightly. Um, and it's like I'm actually getting what I'm getting is like being that guiding light for yourself and allowing that internal light within you to guide you, and listening carefully to what it tells you, and listening carefully to see, to know yourself intimately and where you're going, and yeah, and to really connect with that. It's very, this energy is very interesting that I'm picking up on today. Whoever I'm here working with, or whatever group of people I'm working with, is very different than what I'm normally used to, actually. So it's kind of interesting. um, Feels very rustic and bronze for some reason, like very, I don't know, it's just what's coming to me. um, and I'm not used to working with that energy as much with clients I work with. The clients I work with that come to me tend to be a lot of air and water sign folks, and well, yeah, and quite a bit of fire sign more recently, actually. But yeah, I tend to work with a lot with energy that really flows and shifts, and I feel like the key for you is to fuel, you know, to allow, and to fuel that fire within in a very steady and grounded way, right? A very, very steady and grounded way. And yeah, so that you can sustain the work that you do. I feel like that is something that's important for you. And so whatever that is, you know, and I think that very much is true, you know, ignite your passions, allow that passion to be the fuel. Allow this continuing to journey deeper and deeper into your heart space, into love, right? To fuel you. And yeah, I think that's a very clear direction. Very, very clear direction. And so I certainly hope that this has offered some clarity and yeah, and some insight and some support. Yeah, and if you would like to work with me privately, I do one-on-one sessions doing intuitive work with tarot, and you know, I've been doing a lot of work with people recently with helping them connect with guides, as I am a medium. So like it's yeah, it's really beautiful to do that, connecting people with ancestors and with guides. which has been really, really beautiful, like working with people. And like it's so funny because like I'm the one that starts tearing up first because it's coming through, and then I see them start tearing up, and it's like we're just there together, like with their, you know, ancestors or whatever, like, you know, loving on them or whatever. And yeah, so I've had a number of really, really great experiences with working with people doing that. And I'm also, like I mentioned before, I do energy work. So obviously like distance for now. As well as, you know, if you're interested in learning how to do like Qi Gong or meditation, I've been teaching that for years as well. And I have a number of free workshops and offerings, including one actually tomorrow, if you see this video, which will be on Saturday, August 1st. I'm going to be teaching a Qi Gong class and also offering a community energy healing offering with a good friend of mine virtually. So yeah, feel free to reach out on Instagram or whatever to say hi or book a session with me. I have a sliding scale for payment to make that accessible for everyone. And yeah, I wish you a beautiful rest of the end of the month. I guess just today. And I'll be back with you guys next week to do your August forecast readings and looking into what's going on next month. So many, many, many blessings to you, and until next time.